Okay, at the risk of falling completely on my face and having to just give everybody an A in the class, I'm going to try to, from memory, do this problem. Well, from memory, I don't even remember it, so I'm just going to have to do it in front of this recording because I don't have any time to start fooling around with it. How's that for an opening? Okay, let's see what it was all about. So it was an 80% acquisition, P and S. And it was for $80,000 on January 1. Okay, what I'm doing is getting what I know. I know I'm going to need to do a worksheet, so I'm trying to figure out what it. So undervalued, let's make some room here. Undervalued in the assets was inventory of 1,000. That's over here. And that's inventory, and then equipment undervalued by 4. So that's going to be part of my explanation. And the reason I'm saying 4 and 1 is because in the worksheet it's all takes out the thousands. It's all, the numbers are in terms of thousands, so I'm going to deal with it that way, which may not be the best idea, but that's what we're doing. All right, let's see. So they purchased it on January 1/11, and we need to know what the balance sheet looked like at December 31, 2010 in order to know what 1/1/11 looked like. So that is the equivalent of 1/1/11. Okay. The inventory was sold in 11. That's going to be relevant. The equipment had a 4-year life at 2010. And what was remaining, whatever remaining, was a unrecorded intangible having a 40-year life. So the equipment has a 4, and the intangible, whatever it's going to turn out to be, has 40. Alright, so let's see what we got. Okay, so when you look at the columnar trial balance for the subsidiary, you wind up finding that you need to figure out what the ending retained earnings are, because this is before closing the retained earnings. How do you know that? Well, you see dividends there, so that doesn't make sense. You got cost of sales, you got operate. So it all points to the fact that this is a pre-closing trial balance. That's what it is, pre-closing trial balance. That's intermediate accounting, somewhere in intermediate accounting. Maybe before that, but I won't embarrass myself or you. And so now what we need to do is figure out what the ending retained earnings should have been. So we have to do the following. We've got to take sales at 80 minus expenses, which turned out to be 40 and 30. That's 70, so 80 minus 70 is 10, minus the dividends is 5. So 5 was added to retained earnings. That's what you would do the math. 5 is added to retained earnings, so retained earnings would be 30. So now we know what they purchased in the equity section as far as what the net asset value would have been at the date of purchase. It would have been 40, 20, and 30. That's 60, 30, 90. So 90 would have been the number of the net asset value on the books. What did they pay? Let's go back. They paid $80,000 for an 80% interest. So that equals for the total, that implies the value of the total for fair value of 100. So we'll write that down, 100, and we know that 1 belongs to inventory, 4 belongs to the equipment. The difference would be to the intangible. What are we trying to do? We're trying to find the difference between 100 and 90. 190 being the book value, and so we've got 5 so far. So the remaining 5 figures out the difference. The 10, of course, 10's the difference. Remember that sign? Yeah, there you go. The delta. Ugh, I hate that sign. Get that out of there. Okay, so that would be the intangible, which has the 40-year life is that, and we're ready to rock and roll, I think. Okay, let's see if we can rock and roll. Let's go to the solution, and in order to go to the solution, I think I've got to stop the tape, and so we're going to move forward. So that'll be this, and you'll pick it up next time.